Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're diving into something deeply personal, often challenging, but really, really important for building a life of peace. We're talking about healing from family dysfunction.
Mm-hmm. A really vital topic.
Yeah, and we've gathered quite a few resources, articles, some research, personal stories too, all exploring what family dysfunction actually is, how it shapes us, where it comes from.
And crucially, the pathways toward healing. That's the focus, really.
Exactly. Our mission here is to unpack all this material with you, our listener. We want to pull out the clearest insights, the most practical tools we can find, and perspectives that hopefully empower you to understand that journey.
The journey from chaos to, hopefully, a sense of calm in your own life.
Right. And exploring this takes real courage. We want to acknowledge that straight away.
Absolutely. It's not easy looking at this stuff.
Not at all. Looking honestly at the pain, the confusion.
Right.
It's tough, but you are definitely not alone in this, and we're here to, walk through these ideas together.
Ideally, family is that safe haven, isn't it? That place of support.
It should be. But for so many people, it ends up being a source of tension, maybe inconsistency, just confusion.
And that creates this kind of internal turbulence that doesn't just stay in the past.
No, it really shapes how we see ourselves, how we interact with the world, with others. Recognizing that turbulence, seeing that maybe it wasn't okay or wasn't healthy, that's such a huge first step.
It really is. Step one.
So in this deep dive, we're going to break down what dysfunction looks like, try to understand its roots, its personal impact.
And then get practical.
Oh.
Look at tools for healing boundaries, communication.
Yeah, navigating those ongoing relationships, which can be tricky, and figuring out how you can actively build a future that feels rooted in your peace, not, defined by past pain.
Building something new.
Okay, let's unpack this.
Right. So based on the materials, at its heart, family dysfunction isn't just about judging a family as good or bad.
No, it's more nuanced than that.
It's really defined by these persistent, unhealthy, sometimes harmful patterns of interaction. Patterns that stop the family from providing that basic sense of safety, support, and stability people need to thrive.
And it shows up in so many different ways, right? It's a spectrum.
Definitely a spectrum.
And when you look closely, certain patterns emerge quite clearly. Poor communication is a big one.
Huge.
Yelling, sarcasm, avoidance, maybe the silent treatment, walking on eggshells.
Yeah, or emotional unavailability. Just neglect, where basic needs for comfort or support aren't met.
And tied into that often is that lack of clear boundaries. You hear the term enmeshment sometimes.
Yes, where individual identities kind of get blurred or personal space, emotional limits, they just aren't respected.
Then there's the instability that comes with things like addiction or maybe chronic mental illness in the family.
Right, creating unpredictability, breaking trust, and of course abuse, physical, emotional, verbal. That's a major form of dysfunction, leaving deep scars.
And role confusion, too. You see that sometimes where kids take on adult responsibilities.
Like being a parent's confidant or even a caretaker.
Yeah. Or just constant conflict. A chaotic energy where you never quite feel safe or settled.
And it's so important to understand these patterns, they rarely exist on their own, do they?
No, they overlap. They feed into each other. It becomes this complex system.
Exactly, a self-reinforcing system. And that system leaves deep personal marks. Internally, someone raised in that environment often carries emotional scars.
Things like chronic anxiety.
Yeah, or feelings of shame, anger, maybe numbness, big mood swings, definitely difficulty trusting people, pervasive self-doubt. It really affects your emotional baseline.
And to survive in those unsafe environments, you develop coping mechanisms, right? Strategies just to get through.
Absolutely. They were survival strategies back then. Things like withdrawing emotionally to protect yourself.
Or people-pleasing, trying to keep the peace.
Or trying to over-control everything around you. Or sometimes, sadly, turning to substances or even self-harm to cope with overwhelming feelings.
They were necessary shields, like you said, but then they become walls later on.
Exactly. They hinder genuine connection, finding peace. And this hits core parts of yourself. Self-esteem often suffers if love felt conditional.
Right, like you had to earn it.
And trust is hard when promises were broken or things were just inconsistent. And boundaries, as we mentioned, if they were ignored in childhood, it's incredibly hard to know your own limits, to say no or distance yourself from harm as an adult.
So learning to set and keep healthy boundaries becomes absolutely fundamental.
It's vital for reclaiming your sense of self, your safety.
And it's fascinating and also quite challenging to see how these dynamics echo in our adult relationships outside the family.
Oh, definitely. We might unknowingly repeat them.
Like choosing partners who are unavailable or controlling.
Yes, or falling into caretaker roles again, or avoiding conflict even when it's needed.
Recognizing those echoes, those patterns in your adult life. It can be painful, but it's also incredibly empowering, isn't it? It gives you a chance to choose differently.
It really does.
Yeah.
And that journey, it involves both forgiveness and self-compassion. The sources are clear. Forgiveness here isn't about excusing bad behavior.
No, it's more for yourself.
Exactly. It's about freeing yourself from carrying that burden of anger, of resentment.
Mhm.
And self-compassion is just as crucial.
Especially if you internalized a lot of self-criticism.
Right. Learning to treat yourself with kindness, patience, understanding. That's essential for rebuilding your inner sense of worth. It's how you create a safe internal space for healing. These aren't one-time fixes, though.
They're ongoing practices, definitely. And just quickly acknowledging the stuff, the dysfunction, it isn't weakness.
No, it's strength.
It really is. No family is perfect, we know that, but harmful patterns shouldn't just be swept under the rug.
Well said. So let's dig a bit deeper then. Why do these patterns even start? The materials suggest they rarely just appear out of thin air.
No, they usually have deep roots. Childhood trauma is often a significant factor.
Things like abuse, neglect, abandonment.
Or witnessing violence, chronic conflict, addiction. These experiences, they profoundly affect emotional development, how the nervous system gets wired.
And that impacts relationships for years, decades even.
Which often links to this idea of generational cycles, doesn't it?
Yes, exactly. The idea that parents who grew up in dysfunctional systems might, often unknowingly, pass those patterns down.
Maybe they never healed themselves, or they just learned unhealthy ways of coping or relating.
Right. And breaking that cycle takes immense awareness, real intentional effort. But the potential impact is huge. Healing one generation can literally change the legacy for the next.
Communication breakdowns are another huge piece. They really perpetuate the dysfunction.
Definitely. When you can't have honest, vulnerable conversations, problems just fester, don't they?
Yeah, think about it. Passive aggression leads to stonewalling, maybe refusing to engage.
Resentment builds.
Until there's an explosion or just more emotional distance. These unhealthy ways of handling conflict prevent the very dialogue needed to fix things.
And other triggers get mentioned too, like ongoing struggles with addiction or severe mental illness. These can create such chronic instability and chaos.
External stressors too, right? Like financial trouble, job loss, illness.
Yeah, those can push families that already lack healthy coping skills into even deeper dysfunction. Recognizing these factors isn't about making excuses.
No, it's about understanding the pressures.
Right. Understanding the complex pressures families face and why support is so critical.
And we should also consider the wider context, cultural, societal influences.
Good point. Norms around things like hierarchy, how emotions are expressed, or gender roles.
They can sometimes unintentionally reinforce dysfunctional roles, can't they? Or make it harder for people to speak up about their needs.
Understanding those external pressures helps distinguish systemic issues from, personal choices or agency.
And bringing it back to the personal. Understanding these roots helps explain why setting boundaries with family feels so incredibly hard sometimes.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just setting a boundary in isolation.
No, you're navigating years, maybe decades, of history, intense emotional ties.
And often deep guilt or fear of rejection, fear of upsetting the status quo.
That whole context just makes the tools we're about to talk about even more crucial.
Exactly, because knowing why is vital, but the real power comes from moving towards solutions.
Right. Moving from understanding the pain to actively building resilience and finding peace. And the resources offer some really concrete pathways.
And the absolute cornerstone tool, the one that comes up repeatedly, is setting boundaries.
Yes. And the emphasis is they aren't walls to shut people out entirely.
No, think of them more as protective lines. Clear, respectful guidelines for how you allow others to treat you, how they interact with you.
Why are they so important?
Well, they protect your energy, your emotions. They help you clearly communicate your needs. They build mutual respect, ideally. And they stop resentment from building up silently.
And boundaries can take different forms, can't they? Physical space.
Emotional limits, boundaries around your time, even mental boundaries like what topics you will or won't discuss.
So the first step is really figuring out your limits. What drains you? What feels
Well,
disrespectful?
knowing your values, your non-negotiables, then comes the practical part. How do you actually do it, especially with family?
That's the million-dollar question.
Well, the advice is be clear and specific. Avoid vague complaints. Use I statements.
Like, I feel overwhelmed when instead of you always.
Exactly. I feel overwhelmed when we discuss politics, so I need to change the subject. Or, I love seeing you, but I really need Friday nights for myself to recharge.
Consistency is key too, right?
Crucial. A boundary you don't enforce isn't really a boundary. It's just a suggestion. And be prepared for some pushback.
Yeah, that's likely.
Staying calm, firm, respectful, without getting sucked into an argument is the goal. And don't go it alone. Lean on support.
Practice with a friend. Talk to a therapist.
Yes. Or connect with a support group. Remember, setting boundaries is self-care. It's not selfish.
And building right on that is learning to say no without feeling totally crippled by guilt.
Oh, that's a tough one for many people.
Especially if you were conditioned to always put others first. The shift is realizing that saying no to something that crosses your boundary or just drains you.
Is actually saying yes to your own well-being,
So-
yes to your time, your energy.
The advice seems pretty straightforward, but hard to practice. Simple, direct refusals.
No, I can't. That doesn't work for me right now. And acknowledging the guilt that might come up.
It's like a conditioned response.
Exactly. Remind yourself. Feeling guilty doesn't mean you did something wrong. Saying no respectfully actually builds healthier, more authentic relationships long term.
Practice makes it easier, presumably.
It does. Another essential piece is creating emotional safety, both within yourself and in your relationships.
Meaning feeling secure enough to be yourself, express feelings without fear.
Exactly. Without fear of judgment, criticism, abandonment. It's the foundation of healthy connection.
How do you build that?
You cultivate it intentionally. Surround yourself with people who do respect your boundaries, who validate your feelings. Practice active listening and empathy yourself.
And calmly saying what you need.
Yes, being willing to let go of relationships that consistently feel unsafe. And building supportive personal routines, mindfulness, journaling, time in nature.
It's not about avoiding conflict altogether, is it?
No, not at all. It's about having the capacity and the support system to navigate conflict constructively when it arises.
The resources also strongly recommend therapy and counseling options.
Yes, very consistently. Individual therapy can be incredibly helpful for processing trauma, gaining insights, building skills.
Family therapy, maybe, if everyone's willing.
If there's mutual willingness, yes, it can help improve communication dynamics. Group therapy or support groups offer that amazing power of shared experience.
Like, I'm not the only one.
Precisely. And there are specialized therapies too. CBT for changing thought patterns, EMDR for trauma processing. Finding the right therapist, someone you connect with, is key.
Yeah, that fit is important.
And alongside those structured approaches, things like mindfulness and meditation come up a lot.
Cultivating that present moment awareness.
Yes, observing difficult emotions without getting swept away. Building emotional regulation, reducing stress. Simple practices can help focusing on breath, a body scan.
And basic self-care. Sounds simple, but it's fundamental.
Absolutely. Prioritizing sleep, nutrition, movement, things you enjoy, rest. It's not an indulgence. It's the bedrock for emotional resilience. You can't pour from an empty cup.
And this feels crucial, building a strong support network outside the family of origin.
Oh, vital. Especially when those family relationships are strained or unhealthy. These chosen family, friends, mentors, support groups.
They become your lifeline sometimes.
They do. These are the people who hopefully do respect your boundaries, offer encouragement, and model healthier ways of relating.
So it's about actively seeking out safe communities.
Yes, and nurturing those connections. Remembering reciprocity, too, supporting others, while also letting yourself be supported. Building these new connections is a powerful act of self-creation.
It's like building the family you need now.
Exactly. And finally, a simple but profound tool. Journaling and self-reflection.
Just writing things down.
Yeah, it provides that private, judgment-free space to untangle complex feelings, see patterns more clearly, track your progress.
What kind of things help?
Things like a daily emotional check-in, writing letters you don't intend to send, just to process feelings towards family, practicing gratitude, or using specific prompts.
Like, what boundary did I need today?
Or what pattern did I notice myself repeating? What could I do differently next time? Consistent practice really deepens self-awareness.
So you gather these insights, you start using these tools, and the shift begins, right? It moves from just understanding the past
To actively building your future. The resources really emphasize this. Healing isn't just about what you leave behind.
It's about what you choose to create moving forward.
Yes, this is where survival turns into thriving.
And a huge part of that creation is strengthening resilience and emotional intelligence.
Resilience being that ability to adapt, bounce back, maybe even grow stronger through challenges.
And emotional intelligence.
Mm,
Understanding and managing your own emotions and being attuned to others.
exactly. Recognizing, understanding, managing yours, and responding thoughtfully to others. How do you build them?
Well, reflecting on past hardships can remind you you're stronger than you think.
Focusing on progress, not perfection. Healing isn't linear. Cultivating a growth mindset. Seeing challenges as lessons. And consistent self-care gives you the energy for it all.
And strengthening emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
Getting curious about your reactions.
Yes, without judgment. Learning to pause before reacting. Naming your feelings accurately. Respecting others' emotions even if you don't get it. This emotional wisdom is key to breaking cycles,
And building peace in your interactions.
which leads right into cultivating new, healthy communication habits.
Moving away from the old patterns.
Yeah, away from blame, silence, sarcasm, explosions. Healing needs new skills. Assertive communication is huge.
Expressing needs and boundaries clearly but respectfully.
Yes. And active listening, really trying to understand, not just waiting to talk.
Mm.
Replacing assumptions with questions.
Using I statements, I feel, instead of you always.
Definitely. That shifts from blame to experience. And creating safe spaces for dialogue, avoiding shaming, interrupting. Healthy communication is absolutely a skill.
It takes practice and patience.
For sure.
Something really empowering in the materials is this idea of embracing your own family values and traditions.
Yes, you are not bound to just repeat the story you inherited.
You'd be to write a new chapter or a whole new book.
Exactly. It means consciously defining what a healthy family or community looks like to you.
Asking yourself, what values really matter to me? What behaviors am I not willing to accept?
What new traditions, new ways of connecting will I create, whether that's with partners, children, chosen family?
You have the power to build new legacies, rooted in love, peace, authenticity, regardless of your past.
You absolutely don't need a perfect history to create a beautiful future.
Which naturally leads to the tricky part, navigating existing family relationships.
Often very difficult decisions here. The resources acknowledge there's no single answer.
They talk about when trying to heal a relationship might be possible.
Yes, typically when there's genuine mutual willingness. Willingness to understand, take responsibility, commit to change, respect boundaries, really listen.
Rebuild trust and safety.
All of that. Therapy can sometimes help guide that process if both parties are truly invested.
But they're also really clear about knowing when distance or detachment is the necessary choice for your own well-being.
Absolutely. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, a relationship just remains harmful, manipulative, consistently violates boundaries.
And protecting your own emotional health means creating distance.
Physical, emotional, or mental distance.
Oh, God.
It's about prioritizing your well-being. It's not failure.
What are the signs that distance might be needed?
Things like ongoing abuse or neglect, obviously. Repeated boundary violations with no effort to change. Persistent negativity that just tanks your self-esteem. A complete lack of accountability from the other person.
And detachment can look different for different people.
Yeah, reducing contact, limiting topics you discuss, keeping interactions brief, and maybe more superficial. It is okay, sometimes essential, to choose your peace over traditional family expectations.
That's a powerful message.
And ultimately, the resources talk about finding peace in acceptance.
Accepting that some relationships might never be what you hoped for.
Exactly. And this isn't resignation. It's not giving up. It's making peace with reality, freeing yourself from the constant pain of unmet expectations.
How do you practice that acceptance?
Actively letting go of blame and resentment towards others, and critically towards yourself. Reframing your story with self-compassion. Focusing your energy where you do have control.
Your own healing, your boundaries, your choices now.
Yes, and intentionally creating new sources of love and support in your life. Finding peace through acceptance is a profound act of reclaiming yourself.
So, as these materials conclude, they offer this powerful perspective. The path isn't straight.
No, definitely not linear. There will be challenges, tough moments, doubts.
But every single step you take towards understanding, setting one boundary, seeking support, practicing self-compassion, that's a victory, a significant one.
It truly is. And it's not just possible to heal from family dysfunction. The resources suggest it's your fundamental birthright to reclaim your peace, your voice, your future.
We've touched on identifying patterns without shame, recognizing the emotional impact, transforming those wounds,
Looked at tools like boundaries, therapy, mindfulness, support networks, journaling.
discuss making empowered choices about relationships, and, crucially, the power you have to create a life reflecting your truth.
Built on courage, not dictated by trauma. You are not defined by the pain you endured.
No, you're defined by the strength and wisdom you cultivate as you rise from it. So moving forward, carry these reminders. You can choose connection without sacrificing yourself. You can live with both deep compassion for your past and immense strength in your present.
You have the power to break the cycle, to create a new legacy.
One marked by calm, clarity, courage. Your family story explains your beginning? Yes.
But it absolutely does not dictate your ending.
With these insights, these tools we've explored, you really are equipped to step into your own power.
The next chapter, it's unwritten.
Yeah.
And you hold the pen.
Your calm is not some distant, elusive dream. It's here, waiting for you. It begins with just one single intentional step. Maybe it's setting one boundary this week. Maybe it's one moment of self-compassion today.
Take that step.
Live that calm. Own your story. Stay curious. Stay resilient. Keep that spark alive. Dive deep.